Right. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hope you are having a wonderful day today. Hopefully, you've been having a fantastic week. I'm just getting my table towels ready here. When I'm working with acrylics, I do like to cut them into smaller pieces so that I've got kind of layers to wipe my brush on. So that's what I'm doing here to get started. And we'll give everybody a chance to jump in and then we'll get going here. But like I said, just cutting some table towels up. When I work with my acrylics, I like to have kind of a little stack of them. So this way I can just peel off basically the top layer and always have a nice clean fresh towel to wipe my brush on. And this way I don't waste any product, I don't waste those towels. So I'll go ahead and finish cutting those a little bit later, but I've got a nice little stack here ready to go for our demo. But let me pull up our chat, see what you guys are doing today, see who is joining us. You guys, let me know who you are and where you are joining us from. Ooh, Andrea says watching from Sweet Home, Alabama. Well, welcome to you, Andrea. Welcome to everyone that is with us. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to be working with acrylic, and I'm going to be sculpting out what I've really been seeing a lot of this trend, which is basically the glitter fade French. So we're going to be sculpting out this nail, and I actually really love this design because it's a great way to almost elongate your wearing of your sets so that you don't always have to keep redoing the nails or redoing your designs. It's a good design and a good starter nail to really just add on to. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by prepping my nails here, pushing back those cuticles. And you guys, I think what I want to do before we actually get into our glitter and all of that, all of the fun stuff, I think I want to show you guys some techniques using our Speed Clear because that's the acrylic that I'm going to be using today. And normally I demo with our Cover Pink or our Cover Peach. I really like the cover colors, but today we're going to be working with the clear because we're going to be using the glitters and we're going to be mixing and we're going to be creating a dimensional nail. So I want to show you guys some techniques using specifically the clear because it can be just a little bit different than our Cover Pink. But we're still going to do the same prep on the nails, still push back those cuticles, going through and removing the shine, removing that shiny surface. Now let's see, I think on this first one, yeah, let's go ahead and cut this shorter. I think maybe we'll cut both of them shorter. We'll see. We'll see what we end up doing here today. But we'll start by cutting that shorter. When I'm sculpting, I do like to shorten up that natural nail and get kind of that, like that extra length out of our way. So this way we're not struggling when we put our forms on. So it's just going to help you make your form application a little bit easier when you do cut down that natural nail a little bit. Now, you don't have to worry about perfectly shaping this natural nail at this point because we are going to be sculpting that acrylic free edge. But I just like to give it a little bit of a shape, clean up any sharp edges or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about that when you're putting your form on. All right, so let me go ahead and we'll dust these nails off, get all of that excess dust off of there, and then we'll clean them with our Swipe. So Swipe is our prep product. Let me zoom out a little bit there. So this is going to cleanse that natural nail. Let me unlock my bottle there. It's going to cleanse that natural nail and give us a nice clean, dry, pH balanced surface so that everything is going to adhere really well. It's also going to help to remove any germs or bacteria that's on the nails. So you always want to make sure that you're giving that nail a really good cleansing, so this way you're not going to have to worry about any greenies or bacterial infections or anything like that. Now, before we do our sculpting, we're going to add 2 coats of our protein bond, and this is going to really help to ensure our product adhesion. So protein bond is our bonder, it's not a primer, and we're going to apply 2 coats of this, like I said. And when I say it's a bonder, not a primer. What I mean by that is with Protein Bond being a bonder, it is going to leave a sticky surface. So it's going to bond to that natural nail, but then it's going to work like a double-sided tape and it's going to stick to whatever else you put on top of it. So today we're going to be working with acrylic. And again, 2 coats is what we're going to use to really make sure that we've got great adhesion. Now, sometimes you can get away with 1 coat, but we always say 2 coats is going to be your best bet. This way, you're not going to have to worry about maybe if your client is a problem lifter or anything like that. You're always going to know for sure that you're going to have great application and great adhesion. Okay? All right, let's grab our forms real quick. So today I'm working with just our traditional standard forms. We do have some XL forms if you're working on extra long nails, but for today we're just going to be using just our traditional forms. So I'm going to take that little tab out of the center. I'm going to put that on the back of my form, and what that's going to do, that's going to give my form a little bit more stability. It's going to give that form a little bit more of a firm feeling. I'm going to pinch those 2 little tabs together at the end, pinch together that point if I'm going to be sculpting maybe a stiletto nail or a coffin shape. And today I think we're going to be doing, kind of a tapered square look today, maybe a little bit more of a ballerina kind of a shape today. So I'm going to pinch, whoops, I'm going to throw my form around here for a second. I'm going to pinch that free edge or that point of my form together so I've got a nice tapered shape on there. And then if you like to, you can open up that perforated edge at the top. And this is going to help to open that up so you can get that form right up underneath the nail. So I'm going to come right under that nail, catch that free edge, and then just lift up on that end. So if you take a look from the side here, what I'm doing is I'm starting with that form at a slight downward tilt and catching that free edge, and then I'll rock that form right up underneath so that it comes out flush right under that natural nail. So this way there's not going to be any gap or separation between my form and that nail. So always make sure that you've got your form fitting nice and snug up underneath there, nice and tight under that free edge. Secure that down on the sides, and then I'm going to just bring this in just a little bit more so it's a little bit more tapered. I'm going to pinch my form just a little bit shorter. We're not going to be creating quite that long of a nail. We're going to build our acrylic out maybe to about here. So I'm going to just pinch that form a little bit more so that I have that nice tight C curve all the way through the end of the form. Somebody's asking, how do you do a form for a square nail? If you're wanting a complete straight square nail, all you're going to do, you're going to do that same thing. You're going to take that little tab out of the center, pop that on the back, pinch just these 2 little tabs together. You don't want to pinch it all the way to a point. So you're going to pinch that those 2 tabs together and leave that open at the end. This way, let me turn that around. This way you're going to be able to sculpt in a nice straight square nail, and it's going to have more of that, I'm going to say more of a tube shape. There we go. So just like that, it's going to be a little bit more of a tube shape for that square nail rather than pinching that tab or pinching those tabs together at the free edge. Now you guys, there's a ton of different ways you can customize your forms. So if you need a little bit more education or information on how to customize your forms, make sure to subscribe to our channel here. We've got over 3,000 different videos for you. And we definitely have some great ones on how to sculpt or how to customize your forms. So make sure to check that out as well. All right, you guys, I'm just getting my acrylic ready here, and I've got a little bit of monomer in my Dappen dish from the last application. So I always like to start with, first of all, a nice clean Dappen dish. So I'm just cleaning off around the edges there. And I always like to start with fresh monomer. So I am going to soak up those last little bits of monomer that are in here and clean out my dish, make sure that there's no residue from anything else in there. And we will start with fresh monomer. So you always want to start with fresh monomer. This is going to help you to always have really perfect beads of acrylic. And it's also going to help with adhesion and make your application a little bit easier. So always start with fresh monomer. And let's see, somebody else is asking, do you do live videos for gel extensions? Yes, you guys. Again, We've got a ton of videos here. We are here usually 3 days a week on our live stream, usually Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So make sure to join us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and that way you can set your notifications so you'll always know when we do go live. But yes, you guys, we have a ton of different education on all kinds of different things. So, all right, so we're going to be working with our Speed Clear today. Now, like I said before, I usually teach you guys with our Cover Pink. Cover Pink is a great nude color, and this is more of a medium setting product, whereas what I'm going to be working with today is our Speed Clear. And anytime you see any of our products that say speed, that's going to mean that they are a faster setting product. So I want to give you guys some techniques to help you with your faster setting product so you're not struggling and you're not rushing or your product isn't setting too fast for you. So let's go ahead and get in nice and close here. So when you are picking up your acrylic, let me make sure I can get you guys in camera here. There we go. So when you're picking up your acrylic, what we're going to do is we're going to dab our brush down into that liquid, and that's going to really help to release any air bubbles that may be in your brush or anything like that. And this way you're going to be able to absorb a lot of liquid in your brush. So we're going to tap the back side of our brush. We're going to release a little bit of that liquid. And if you want to pick up a large pearl, just give it one tap. The more liquid you release from your brush, the more times you tap that brush, the smaller of a pearl you're going to be able to pick up. So if you want a large pearl, just tap once. If you want maybe a medium pearl, tap twice. If you want a smaller pearl, tap a third or even a fourth time. And you see a little bit of that liquid come out the end. It's just that brush is releasing that liquid. Okay, so when we're picking up our pearl, again, we're going to tap the back side of our brush. Now we've released the liquid from the back side of our brush. Now I want to use the front side of my brush to pick up that pearl. So I'm going to turn my brush over. So again, we wiped out the liquid from the back side. Now we're using the front side, which is fully loaded. I'm going to do kind of a press and pull motion in one. So we're going to press and pull. And what this is going to do, this is going to keep my product on the front side of the brush, not the back side. So if you were to take your brush and just go straight down into that powder, you're going to get product on the back side of your brush. And then when you go to set this down, let me grab another nail. When you go to set this down onto the nail, what's going to happen, so again, if we just jab our brush down in there, you set that down onto the nail, you lift up your brush, and you're going to have product on the back side of your brush, and that is actually going to start to clog up your brush, okay? So that's why we want to make sure that we're doing that press and pull motion in one. Let me show you that again. And I always like to tap down my powders to make sure that there's a nice smooth surface to be picking up my pearl. Okay, so again, we're going to tap out the back side of our brush. We're going to press and pull. We're going to bounce, bounce. And by bouncing, every time you bounce, let me show you this on a towel. Every time you put pressure and you bounce, you're releasing monomer into that powder. And releasing that monomer is going to absorb more powder. So the more times you bounce, the more you're going to be able to absorb powder, absorb powder, absorb powder. If you just take your brush and just set your brush flat down in there, that's not going to pick up the proper consistency. Do you see how you get all of that white kind of dusty look all the way around that pearl? What's happening there is you're not releasing enough monomer to pick up that large pearl. And you're going to get more of a drier pearl and probably something that's not going to flow very well. So again, we're going to press our brush in, release those air bubbles. We're going to press the back side of our brush, turn that brush over. We're going to press and pull. We're going to bounce, release liquid, bounce, release liquid. And then we're going to be able to pick up that nice, large, smooth pearl. It has absorbed all of that powder, and we're going to have great consistency. Now, let's talk about actually putting this onto a nail, because I know you guys, that's what you really want to see. So when we're working on the form and when we're working on the natural nail, we actually want to work with two different consistencies. When we're working on the form, we want our product to be a little bit more controllable. We want our product, let me grab a form here and I'm going to show you one other thing before I actually get this on there. We don't want our product running on the form. So if we were to pick up our pearl and just set that right onto our form, do you see how fast that product is running? This is going to kind of be out of control. I'm going to have to chase it. I'm going to have to work with this and move it. It's still flowing. It's still running. And I have to do a lot of work to control that, okay? What I want to do instead, and this is only when you're working over that form and you're sculpting, you are going to pick up your pearl. We're going to press, bounce, bounce. I'm going to drain out some of that extra liquid. I'm going to just set my brush onto my table towel. I'm going to press that down. I'm going to hold that with the clear, with the Speed Clear product. We're going to hold that for about 3 seconds. Okay, let me show you that one more time. I'm going to press, press and pull, bounce, bounce. I'm going to hold that 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to set that onto my form. I'm going to press down, release. Now what's going to happen is my product is a little bit more in a clay-like form. So I can mold this product, I can move this product and shape it. Whereas that first one that we didn't drain out, this one is going to be more controllable where that first one is running. Okay, so when we're working with our free edge, working on that free edge, we want to drain out that liquid so that it is going to be more like clay. All right, let me grab a clean spot on my table towel and let's go ahead and we'll apply that free edge. And just want to make sure I got you guys in camera here. There we go. Okay, so again, we're going to pick up our pearl. I'm going to press, bounce, bounce. I'm going to drain out 1, 2, 3. I'm going to set that down onto my form with some pressure. I'm going to wipe out the residue out of my brush. I'm going to use the kind of the belly of my brush, press that out from side to side, tuck in on the sides with the edge of your brush. Then you're going to use the belly, press that back out to the sides, up into that corner. Tuck in with the edge, walk that up into the corner. In with the edge, up into the corner. Now I'm going to walk all the way back across the whole surface, making sure everything is nice and even. Tuck in on the side, walk up into the corner. In on the side, up into the corner. Now, as your product is starting to set, if you need to, you can also start to bring that down the length of the form and create whatever shape you want. But do you see how I keep coming back up over the top? The reason for that is so that I still maintain the same thickness from one side of the nail all the way over to the other side, okay? And somebody's asking, are these live streams going to be posted later? Yes, you guys, usually we do post our live streams here on our YouTube channel, so you can come back and rewatch it. Absolutely. Just make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can always get all of our great information. Okay, so that's how we're going to work on the free edge. When we're working back by the cuticle area and through the rest of the body of the nail, that's where we actually do want our product to flow. So we want it to move a little bit. So when we're working with our product by the cuticle, I'm going to pick up that same pearl, press, bounce, bounce. This time I'm not going to drain out that liquid because I want it to flow. This time I'm just going to hold that pearl for just a couple of seconds to help it start to polymerize just a little bit. I don't want to wait too long. Now at this point I have waited too long, and if I go to apply that to my nail, it's going to be too set. So you want to just wait, like I said, maybe 2 to 3 seconds or so when you're working with the Speed Clear. If you're working with that Cover Pink that we usually use, then you do want to wait just a little bit more. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn my brush over and I'm going to set that onto the nail. Now, you guys, I'm going to hold on to this for just another second or so I can show you. When I set that product onto the nail, I'm setting it down with the nail pointing downward. I don't want to set my pearl onto the nail at this angle. What this is going to do is if I put that pearl onto the nail from this angle, it's going to run down the sides. So let me show you really quick what's going to happen. So if you keep that nail flat on here and you set that pearl down, you're going to set that down, it's going to start to run down the sides and it's going to start to get onto that skin. The other thing that's going to happen is, do you see how thick my product is in that back area? We don't want that thick. We want it nice and thin and tapered. So I'm going to wipe this off real quick. Remove that product there. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to angle that finger downward, and we're going to apply the product with our brush at this angle. So again, not here. We're going to drop the nail down. We're going to leave that brush here. So this way we're going to be able to press out that cuticle area. So that cuticle area is going to be nice and thin and tapered, and it's not going to be thick around the edges. So let me show you that. Again, I'm angling that finger downward. I'm going to press, bounce, bounce. I'm going to hold my pearl 1, 2, 3 seconds. I'm going to set that down right at my cuticle area, release my brush. I'm going to use the point of my brush to press around the cuticle area, pivot my brush on the sides. Same thing on the other side. Press, press, pivot my brush on the side. Now at this point, I'm just going to dab out my brush, pivot your brush on the edge, and blend out the edge. Same thing over here. Pivot your brush, blend out that edge. Now you guys, as I'm talking, my product is starting to set up, but as I'm working, I do want to just blend out the edge of that pearl that I set down. Just blending that into the rest of that extension, okay? Now, if you need to, you can use a little bit more pressure with your brush right up through that stress area to kind of thin that out just a little bit more if you need to. But we don't want to take down all of that bulk. We want to leave a little bit of thickness right there in our stress area. And this way we're going to have good structure to that nail. Now, we do need to build in a little bit more thickness right through that free edge area and to kind of fill in this little indent right there. So this is where we're going to pick up a smaller pearl, but we're going to do a combination. We're going to do a combination of that first pearl on our free edge where we drained out the liquid, and the second pearl back here by our cuticle where we did not drain the liquid. For this one, we're going to pick up, we're going to press, bounce, bounce. Instead of holding this pearl on the towel and releasing all of the liquid, all I'm going to do is just dab it. So again, we're going to press, bounce, bounce. I'm going to dab out a little bit of that extra liquid. I'm going to turn my brush around, set that pearl down, blend that back up into that stress area, all the way through, pivoting my brush on the side, wipe out my brush. Now I can come back, use a little bit more pressure as I'm bringing that product down the length of the nail. Okay, so this is how we're going to build out the rest of that free edge. Blend that forward if you need to bring more product down to that free edge. Turn your brush around and blend back if you need to bring more of that product back up into that stress area. Okay. All right, so you guys, that was some basic techniques of working with our speed clear. Let's get into an actual glitter nail and a little bit of design here. So I'm going to, let me grab one more nail here, and let's go ahead and we'll just use this one for now. We'll go ahead and use that one. This one's all prepped and ready to go. And let's get our form on there. Let's get that free edge pinched, and we'll get our form onto our nail. Now, when we're working with glitters, you guys, you want to make sure that you're protecting that natural nail. So at this point, we're not going to start by sculpting the free edge. Now, I don't want to confuse you guys, okay? So what we were doing on this first nail is our basic techniques. Now I'm going to give you some more advanced techniques, okay? So take whatever you remember from this first nail, and we're going to add to that, okay? So we're going to be doing a glitter mixture. We're going to be fading our glitter onto our nail. So anytime you're putting glitter onto or in your acrylic, what you want to do first is protect that natural nail. So I'm going to pick up a small pearl. I'm going to leave that wet just like we did on our first nail, but this one I'm just going to set down right at our cuticle area. I'm going to press that all the way around our cuticle area, wipe out my brush. I'm going to blend out that pearl all the way through that whole natural nail. Now it looks like I'm wiping off almost all of my product, and I almost am. But what I'm leaving on here is a very thin layer so that when we do put our glitter acrylic on there, that thin layer is going to protect that nail when we go to change out our design. So that clear is always going to be on that nail. So when we file this product off and we file off our glitter, it's going to still have that layer of clear underneath there, and we're never going to file down to that natural nail. Okay? All right, you guys. At this point, I'm going to pause our acrylic application because we're going to do some glitter mixing, okay? So let's grab our glitters. And you guys, if you are following us on our Discord server, I did list all of our different glitters on there, but let me just take you really quickly through the colors that I'm going to be using today. Today we've got Texture Friends, we've got Reindeer Tear, and Minor Raindrops. I had to write that label on there because I lost the label. We've also got Lava and Cartoonish and Bonus Pretty and After Curfew, and the last one that we have is Fortune. And you guys notice that I have a couple of different sizes here. The smaller sizes, these were our old packaging. Now all of our glitters do come in the 1 ounce size, so you get a whole lot of glitter that is going to last you forever. So some great colors here that we're going to be working with. Now I am going to mix a color, and I'm going to grab one of our mixing jars. So we're going to start with our mixing jar. So when you're mixing your glitter into your acrylic, you want to use about a 3-to-1 ratio. So 3 parts acrylic to 1 part glitter. Now, are we going to sit here and try to measure out exactly 1, 2, 3 parts of our acrylic and then 1 part of our glitter? You guys know we're not going to do that, okay? 3-to-1 is the kind of the estimated amount. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mixing jar. I'm going to fill it to this bottom ridge right here. So basically where the cap sits, so right at the base down there. I'm going to fill this with our acrylic, and then we're going to fill the rest of the way with glitter. And that's going to be about a 3-to-1 ratio of acrylic to glitter. So if it's not 100% perfect ratio, you can always adjust. You can add more acrylic, you can add more glitter, however you need to. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit more, acrylic right in there. Okay, so again, we're working with Speed Clear on this. And let's add a little bit of each of our glitters. And you guys, you can customize these however you want to, create your glitter mixes however you want to. But the colors that I'm using are going to give us a really pretty fall kind of a color mix. So you can add in all kinds of different cuts. You can use different shapes, different sizes. So I did start out with a more fine glitter. And then our next glitter was, I would say, maybe a size up. So different sizes, different cuts. The next one that I have, this is a little bit more of a chunky kind of a glitter, but this one is going to really just add highlight to our color. And then let's add a little bit of dark to our color. So again, you guys, this is one of my favorites for Thanksgiving. I don't know why, but I feel like this brown, kind of a hologram type brown, is a great color for Thanksgiving, for fall. This one too, you guys, I think this one's called Cartoonish. This is an absolutely beautiful orange. This is a great one, kind of a fiery orange. Great one for Thanksgiving, great one for, what's the other one? Halloween. You guys can't even remember my holidays here. And then this one's going to be a little bit more of a, like a larger, chunkier glitter. Okay, so adding that in. And then we're going to add in a little bit of lava. And again, this is going to be a smaller glitter. So this is a little bit finer. And I do like to add a good amount of the finer glitters because I feel like that's going to be really your base colors. Okay. And then a little bit more of a holographic gold. So let's add that in. All right, you guys. We've got all of our glitters in there. I'm going to put the cap on. I'm going to give this a quick shake to really mix up all of those different colors in there, get those glitters combined. And you guys, this is the fun part. You guys, this is the fun part of doing nails, is just customizing and creating your favorite colors. And somebody says, orange is my favorite. You guys, which color was your favorite? Which color did you like that I added in there? Let me know in the chat. I want to know which one was your favorite. Did you like the finer glitters? Did you like the chunkier ones? Let me know. I would love to know. Okay, so I'm going to do just a quick sample of this so I can see exactly what this is going to look like. And you guys take a look at that. That actually looks kind of light. So I feel like I need some more glitter in there to make it a little bit more bold. So I'm going to add a little bit more of a few different ones of these. So let's add maybe a little bit more of that kind of rose goldy. Let's add a little bit more of that orange, a little bit more of that fiery orange, a little bit more brown. And yeah, let's go ahead and add in some more of those chunkier colors. And again, you guys, this is where doing nails gets to be so much fun because you get to be creative. You get to add all of the color you want. You get to add all of the sparkle, all of the dimension. Let's see, you guys, Cartoonish, somebody says is their favorite. The purple is their favorite. The chunky is your favorite. Oh my gosh, you guys. So many different colors here, so many different options for you to mix and to customize. So let's give that another quick shake. And you guys always do a quick sample of your color before you actually put it onto the client's nails, because this way you can really customize it and you can adjust. And if you want a little bit darker, if you want a little bit more bold, if you want a little more sparkle, you can really just completely customize these. All right, so I think let's take another quick sample here. And okay, so that is definitely looking a little bit more bold, a little bit darker. Now you guys, I am gonna use the mix that I used on, I'm gonna tell you guys this. Let me show you here real quick. So on these first nails, I did these previous to our set, or to our live stream here today, and this is the color mixture that I created. So this is actually what I'm gonna use on the rest of the set so that they all look identical. Now that is something to keep in mind. When you are custom mixing those glitters for your clients, if you mix in maybe just a small amount like this one, this is gonna last you for that full set. But if you take this and after your client is done, if you don't want to have it stored in a jar like this, usually what I like to do with all of my leftover glitters is I will take, this is my garbage pile, you guys. It's not really garbage. It is, sorry you guys, I think my stream here glitched for a second, but this is one of our old containers, our old acrylic containers, and I use this one as my garbage pile. And anytime I do just a small mixture like this, anything that's left over, I'll just pour that into this jar, and then I have a completely customized glitter mix for my clients out of this one, okay? So this one is just all of my leftover odds and ends of glitters, and this one is an absolutely beautiful custom mix. So you guys, again, if you just want to mix enough for your full set, you can mix it into a smaller Dappen dish like this. If you want to mix enough for maybe a few clients, maybe for the whole season, you can definitely mix in the larger jars, and then you can store those larger jars on your shelf, and you always have that. Or you can create that garbage pile with all of your last odds and ends. And you guys, you can see there's even stars in here. There's big chunky pieces. So all kinds of different colors that go together in my garbage pile. So we're not wasting product. We're not throwing away those glitter mixes. You can reuse them again and again. But I am going to use the mix that I used on these nails, so that way it is going to be exactly the same as what's on the nails here. And like I said, anytime you mix, it is a custom mix. It is never going to be exactly the same every time. So even if I tried to mix again, like I just did here, if I try to mix the same combination, it's never going to be exactly the same. So just keep that in mind when you are doing your glitter mixes. So let me close up our glitters here real quick, and then we will get back into our design. Somebody says it looks kind of like a sparkly leaf pile. Absolutely. And you guys, that's why these colors all together are a great color mixture for fall. Lots of different colors, lots of different textures, lots of different designs. So absolutely. Okay, let's get all of those set aside here. So we've got our nail ready to go. We've already put our little bit of clear right over that natural nail. Now let's go ahead and sculpt out the rest of this extension. Okay. Now, remember when we were talking about building out our free edge, and we want our product to be a little bit more like kind of a clay-like texture? With our glitter, because we've added glitter to our acrylic, what's going to happen is the product is going to feel a little bit of a different texture. So with this one, let me show you on a form again. So with this one, when we set this onto the nail, okay, this one is still going to run and flow, but it's not going to flow quite as fast as it did just by the, just the clear by itself. So with this one, we don't necessarily have to drain out as much of the liquid when we're building out that free edge. So we're going to just give this pearl just a quick little tap to release a little bit of that liquid. So just a quick 1, 2. And then we'll set it onto our form just like we did with the clear. So set that on. I'm going to wipe out my brush. Use the belly of my brush to press that out even from side to side. We'll tuck that in on the edges, up into the corner. So again, tuck in on the edge, walk that product into the corner. We're going to bring our product all the way back across, tuck in on the edge, walk that bulk into the corner. Tuck in on the edge. Now I'm going to just start to bring that down the length of my form to create the length that we want. And I'm going to bring that in a little bit on the sides because we're going to create a little bit more of a tapered square. I'm not doing that perfectly straight square, so I'm bringing it in a little bit on those edges to just kind of taper in a little. Okay, bring that all the way down the length that you want to create. And if you're trying to create a square nail, I'm just going to turn my brush on the side, tuck in that free edge to square off that end. Okay, again, let's just clean up those edges. Now, we're going to be creating a fade on our nail. So we're going to take a little bit more of our pearl, or of our product here. We're going to take a small pearl. So press, bounce, bounce. So just a small pearl. I'm going to set that right in that stress area. I'm going to press that out from side to side. So pressing out from side to side. I'm going to wipe my brush out. I'm going to turn my brush around, and I'm going to just kind of grab the edge of that pearl. I'm going to move my form out of the way. Just start to blend out those little tiny pieces of the glitter. And this is how we're going to get that product to fade. So just fading out, pressing out. If you need to, you can wipe your brush back out again and just kind of push from this direction now. So however you need to get that product to fade, get that glitter to fade out, you can brush in that direction. I'm going to just press this out a little bit more, blend that in. Now at this point, you guys, if we take a look at this nail from the side, we don't have a whole lot of structure to our nail. So we do need to build up the rest of the structure of the nail, and we also need to cap this design. So we need to seal this color in, because if we were to just leave this glitter here and go to file the nail, we would end up filing all of our glitter off. And so we need to seal this design in. So that's where our speed clear comes back around. Now, all of those same techniques that we did on our first nail in the clear, that's exactly what we're going to do as an overlay now, okay? So we're going to pick up our pearl. We're going to press, bounce, bounce, bounce. I'm going to hold that 1, 2, maybe 3 seconds, set that down. The fingers angle downward. I'm going to press around that cuticle area, pivot my brush on the sides, come back to that right side, press and pivot all the way around. I'm going to wipe out my brush, pivot my brush on the side, blend out that edge, pivot on the right side, blend out the edge, and then just blend out the edge of that pearl. So this way we are creating that nice thin tapered cuticle area. I'm going to use a little bit of pressure right through that stress area, blending that down just a little bit and blending that clear forward. So again, if we look from the side view, we've got that nice thin and tapered cuticle area. We've got a little bit of thickness right through our stress area, right where we need it. And then our product is flowing down to the free edge. Now, we do have a little bit of a low spot here and a little bit more product on the end that we need to seal in. So that's where we're going to pick up one more small pearl. We're going to press, bounce, bounce. I'm going to just dab, drain out just a little bit of that liquid. turn my brush around, press that down, pull back to my cuticle, pivot my brush on the sides, blend back, pivot my brush on the side, and wipe out my brush. Now I'm going to use more of the belly of the brush to press out that product and bring that all the way down to cap that free edge. Okay, all the way down, all the way down, all the way through. And again, if I need to, I can blend backwards to bring that product back towards the that stress area, or I can pull forward and blend that product forward to make sure that my whole entire free edge is capped and sealed. So I'm going to use a little more pressure right there on the corner. All right. All right, you guys, what do you think? Do you want to see this application one more time, or do we want to get to our French? Let me know in the chat. Do we want to see the application one more time? Let me know. And moderators, maybe you can let me know. What do you think we should do? Do we want to do one more glitter application, or maybe we can get to our design? We'll see. All right, I do have a couple of nails though that I have filed and finished, so we can just swap these out real quick. So you guys, I'm not going to show you how to go through all of the filing on these. If you do need to see filing, then we do have a ton of great videos here on our YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out if you want to see how to file these. And you guys, looks like you guys want to see the French. Okay, so maybe we'll just jump right into the French. I think that'll be good to go. All right, French. Yeah, French. Okay, let's get to the French. So I'm going to take this nail off here real quick, and we will get our little swap outs on here. Get that in there. Let's do our French. Okay. All right, so we'll swap these two out. And let me make sure that I do cover up my liquids and powders. I'm going to clean out my brush here real quick. Dab that into our monomer, clean that out on my table towel, and make sure to cover up your liquids and powders so you don't get those contaminated with any dust or anything. Okay? All right, so again, I do have our two nails swapped out and ready to go here. I am going to cleanse these real quick here. And again, let's dust these off. Make sure that there's no filing dust on there. We're going to grab our swipe one more time. I'm going to pump a little bit of that onto my manicure brush. We're going to dust that off, cleanse the surface. So this way, again, we don't have any dust on there or contaminants. And this is going to give us a nice clean surface to do our beautiful French look on. Now, we're going to go back in with one more coat of our protein bond. And this is going to help to adhere our gel really easily. So today I'm going to be working with our Mission Control gel paints. And I love using the Mission Control. You guys, look at how sparkly that's going to be. Oh, you guys, I love it already. But we're going to be using our Mission Control gel paints to do our French manicure. I love using the Mission Control because they are very pigmented, but they don't run and they don't move at all. So where you put them is where they're going to stay. Now I'm going to be working with loose lips, which is kind of, I think on our website it's called a burnt peach. So if that gives you an idea of what our color is going to look like, it's a burnt peach, and I actually really like that. I like that explanation. So I'm going to grab just a little art palette here. I'm going to use that in case I need to, and I'm also going to grab a couple of art brushes. So the first one I'm going to be using is our liner brush, and this is going to help me to create that really crisp smile line. And then I'm also going to be using one of our brushes from our art brush kit. I think this is from our 6-piece art brush kit. And this is more of an oval shape. You can see it's got a crimp to it, so it's a little bit flat there. But it's just a small oval brush. And this is what I'm going to use to brush out the rest of that extension. So let's start with... We'll start with our first nail here. Let me come in nice and close. So I'm going to take a little bit of that Mission Control with my liner brush here. I'm going to just go straight in there. And a lot of times I like to work on that palette. Do you see how let me see if I can come in a little bit closer here. I'm just rolling my brush through that paint and just kind of rolling my brush through. And that's going to help to load up my brush, maybe just a little bit more. And then it's also going to help, let me show you guys that really close here. Do you see how as I pick up that paint, it gets more of a teardrop at the end? I don't want that teardrop, so I'm going to just pull my brush through that. Again, roll my brush, and that way I'm going to have a nice straight brush here without that teardrop, okay? And somebody talking about my curse of spilling the pink powders. You guys, I didn't spill today. Knock on wood, I didn't spill today. All right, so let's come in nice and close here so you guys can see. When I do my French, I like to kind of pick a middle point. So on here, I picked my middle point where the point of my smile line is going to be. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a point right here and just put a tiny little dot there. That's going to be my guide for creating my smile line. Because sometimes I think when we try to go all the way straight across, oops, sorry guys, let me get back in camera here. There we go. I think sometimes when we try to create our line all the way straight across, it gets a little bit uneven. So by picking that center point, we're going to work from one side in and then from the other side in. Okay, so let me grab a little bit more of my gel paint here. I'm going to come in, actually I'm going to come from this side. Oops, got a little paint on that edge. So I'm going to turn my brush around. I'm going to set the point of my brush right at that dot that I created. Set it down and then just slowly and carefully drag my brush all the way up the corner. So as high as you want that little dog ear on the other side, okay? Now, you guys, here's the thing. When I work from the left side in, I don't have as steady of a hand or as much control. So a lot of times what I will do is I will actually turn my client's hand around and I will work from this direction. So let me get you guys back in camera. So we'll take a little bit more of that paint. Same thing, start from that point that I picked. Bring that out to the sides, all the way up to that corner. So this way I was able to get a much more even smile line rather than trying to create one all the way across. And I'm just going to touch up this little point right through there. So now my smile line looks really nice and crisp. I'm going to turn my client's hand back around, and you guys don't worry. I know a lot of times you guys think that it's hard to turn, you know, I'm working with a trainer hand, so it must be easy to turn that around. You guys, all I'm doing with my client's hand would be going from this position to this position. Okay, so when you're doing your clients, you can go ahead and turn their hand over to get that different hand position from here to here. Okay, so it is nice and easy, not a big challenge to do that. Okay, all right, let's grab our other art brush, and now I'm just going to fill in the free edge. So I'm going to take a little bit of that gel paint, and actually I'm going to kind of work that into the brush just a little bit so I get a little bit more of a smooth application. And then we'll take a little bit of that gel paint. We're coming in here, and I'm just going to brush all the way through to fill in that free edge. Now, when I get to the sides, notice how I pivot my brush to tuck right up into that corner and get all the way to the side without getting product on the skin. Now, you guys, if you do accidentally get product on the skin, make sure you have an orange wood stick handy so this way you can clean that off right away so that you're not leaving uncured gel on your client's skin. Now, we want to be sure that we're cleaning that off as quickly as possible, hopefully avoiding that being on the skin. But you guys, sometimes things happen. Sometimes we get a little shaky, or maybe our glasses are a little bit foggy and we can't see it as perfectly. So occasionally, if you do get product on the skin, just make sure to clean it off right away. Okay, same thing over here. I want to make sure I don't have any product on the skin. We're good there. Now, if you need to, you guys don't worry. I know it looks a little bit streaky. We're going to go back and we're going to do a second coat to really make sure that this has good full coverage, okay? But if you need to come back through and clean up that smile line at all, I'm going to clean out my brush here, and I'm even going to use a lint-free wipe, clean out that gel paint out of there. I'm going to turn this hand back around, and I'm going to use a little bit of swipe. Now, you guys, I'm going to take a little bit of that swipe, pump that up into the top there. And I'm going to use this, clean out my brush a little first, clean out a little bit of that gel paint that's in there, dab out that extra. I use just a tiny little bit of that swipe, and I'm going to use that kind of like a little eraser. So this way I can use my art brush here to clean up that smile line and really perfect that smile line so it's going to be nice and crisp all the way through. So again, if you need to touch up that smile line, it's okay to do that. And you guys, here's the thing about French, is everybody always says, oh, I just want something simple today. Let's do French. You guys know, French manicures are probably one of your hardest techniques because they are so detailed. You do want to get those nice and perfect, that smile line nice and crisp. So you do have to maybe sometimes book a little bit of extra time, or make sure you didn't drink any coffee that day, which I did today, but I think we're doing okay. All right, so once we have that first coat on, I am going to put this into our light and we're going to cure that for about 30 seconds. And then we can go through and we can do a second coat. Now you guys, do you want to see another, a little bit more of a Halloween kind of a design along with this? You guys let me know in the chat. Do you want to see a little bit of Halloween, or should we just stick to fall here today? Let me know. You got to let me know in the chat. All right, so again, we're just gonna kind of freeze this in the light for maybe 20 to 30 seconds or so. I think that was good enough. And let's come back here. So now we can go through and we can do our second coat. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna use that liner brush and I'm gonna just take a little bit of that gel paint, roll that through into my brush. I'm gonna come back in again, outline, and this is where we're going to get that really nice, crisp smile line, okay? With that second coat, it always makes everything more perfect, okay? Turn this back around here one more time. Grab a little bit more of that paint. Oh, sorry guys, you actually want to see? All right. Again, we're going to draw in that line. Touch up just that little point if we need to. And as long as we are here, I'm going to use my brush to clean up that smile line. All right, again, just touching that up. All right, you guys, Halloween nails? I don't know. Do we have enough likes and enough subscribes and enough, enough people telling me in the chat that you want the Halloween nails? I don't know if we do. I don't know, you guys. Hit that subscribe button and maybe I'll do Halloween for you. All right, so again, just going through adding our second coat of color. This way we're going to get that really good full coverage all the way through. Now you guys, keep in mind that you don't have to do this French look over the top. You could have just top coated this design, the glitter French or the glitter fade just on its own. But adding in this French is just a little bit of an extra option. It's also a really easy way to elongate the wear of your designs. So, excuse me, maybe if you did this glitter fade maybe 2 weeks ago and now your client wants something a little bit different, now you can add in that French look over the top of it. So it's something else that you can add into your designs, into your price list, your service menu. So just another little thing that you can offer your clients. And again, this way you're not going to have to redo their color, that glitter fade, every single time. Okay, let's go ahead and freeze that. All right, you guys, I think enough of you want a little bit of Halloween, and I think we've got a few extra minutes here. So let's go ahead and do a quick Halloween. So I put away the loose lips. I put away our burnt peach color. I'm going to grab one of our liner gels. Now this is black, and so this one is called Umbrella. Now the liner gels, the striping gel paints, you guys, these have that really fine striper brush in there. So if you're doing those smile lines, a lot of times that striper brush is going to work really, really well, and it's going to be really easy to create that French look. And you guys, you could even do this set just like I'm doing here, and we're going to do our Halloween design as an accent nail. How's that? I think that's going to be a fun idea. So again, I'm going to take my liner brush here. I'm actually going to lift that out. I'm going to run that kind of that little handle right around the top so that I'm getting any of that extra paint off. So this way I don't have any of that gel paint dripping down the edge. I'm going to just drag out pretty much from most sides of that brush. And just like we did on our first nail here, I'm going to find my center point. So let's find our center point right here. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of that gel paint, get that onto my brush. I'm going to take that brush, starting from that center point, bringing that out to the sides, up into that corner. And, oh, you guys, this could be like a little cat tail or something too. All kinds of different ideas now starting to pop into my head. Okay, let's come back here from that other direction. I'm going to take my liner brush again, start from the center, draw that right out to the side. Ooh, you guys, even just an outline like that, how easy is that? Take our brush here again. If you need to clean anything up, you can just clean that up, touch up those edges a little bit. Now, like I said, you guys, you could just leave this here. I could even just clean up that little point right down there. So you could just leave that as just an outline, or you could take that liner brush and just like we did on the other nail, you can fill in. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of our gel paint all the way through. And again, you guys, customize your designs, create the looks that you want to create. If you just want to leave that bold line down the center, leave that bold line down the center. I'm just going to come through my sides here, and we're going to just fill in the rest of that free edge. So bringing that all the way down in there. If you want, you can put a little bit of this gel paint onto your tile as well, and you could use that brush that we were using before. You can use that to brush out so that you get a little bit more full coverage. Sometimes using that liner brush, it takes a little bit longer, but either way is going to work just fine for you. So whichever way you like to work. And we've got our free edge done. If I need to, I can clean up that smile line just a little bit, turn that finger around. And again, using a little bit of my swipe on my brush, I can come back through and clean that up. Just touching up that smile line. All right, we're going to pop that back into the light one more time here. If you need to, you can do a second coat. All right, you guys, do we want to do just a little bit more of an accent? Just a little bit more? You guys throw some hearts in the chat if you want just a little bit more of an accent for Halloween. Because I think I know what you're going to say, but let me know in the chat. So again, I'm going to put a little bit more of that gel paint onto my tile, and we're going to do a second coat of our color just to make sure that we've got really good, a really good even coverage all the way through. Somebody says I need a video on stamping. You guys, we've got a ton of videos actually on stamping. I think we just did stamping, was that yesterday? I think we did stamping yesterday. So check out our channel here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, check out our videos. We've got definitely a few on our stamping. So check those out. All right, so again, just touching up, doing my second coat so that I've got really great coverage all the way through. I'm going to grab that liner brush one more time here. And, oh, somebody says a spider web. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, spider web would definitely be a great option to add in here for Halloween. I was going to make just a really quick, easy jack-o'-lantern, but yeah, I like that idea of a spider web. And you guys, we do have a white striper paint as well. So if you want to do those spider webs, we do have a white striper that would be nice and easy for that. All right, let's go ahead and freeze this back into place one more time for 30 seconds. And I'm going to grab our bright orange. So we've got bright orange striper or a white spider with white spider web with glitter. Oh my gosh, you guys. See, this is why I love doing these videos for you and doing these live streams for you, because it helps to Get your creative juices flowing. It helps to give you ideas and inspiration. And the colors and the techniques that I use, you guys, you can adjust them and you can change them up to whatever you want. So if you are getting inspiration from the designs that I'm doing, if you're getting ideas from what I'm doing, definitely do those nails and post them on your social media. We would love to see them. All right, you guys, let's just do a really quick little, just a quick little, what is it called? Pumpkin. You guys, what are they called? Not a pumpkin. I know it's called a pumpkin, but jack-o'-lantern. All right, so just adding a little of our brighter orange, we can create a little jack-o'-lantern face right on that nail. So just a couple of little triangles. And you guys, you can get as crazy as you want with your jack-o'-lantern faces. I'm just doing a quick little easy look here. Almost kind of a, let's do this. We'll do an upside down. Maybe we'll just do a little dot right in there. A little triangle right in there. And then let's just do kind of a wiggly line here. So you guys, you can create whatever kind of designs you want for the holidays. If you like that, you can definitely do. All right, you guys, you all are saying spider webs. Okay, I'm going to take just another couple of quick seconds here. I'm going to wipe off our design here. And you guys, I'm going to show you a quick spider web here just for a little bit of fun. Let me see if I can find my white liner paint. All right, you guys. So our white striper paint is called T-shirt. So let's go ahead and grab that. And just a really quick, easy way to do a cobweb here. Let's just start from the corner right in. Do another one right in from the center there, there, and let's see, which way do we do these? I can never remember. Let's see, you guys, it's this way. There we go. So just doing our quick little cobwebs in here. Actually, you guys, I am going to use my micro detailer brush. I know that we've got that striper brush in here, but I actually like to use my micro detailer for little teeny tiny things like this. I feel like it just works a little bit easier. And I get a little bit better detail. So just creating that cute little cobweb if you like. Oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot we still have to top coat these. So, okay. So you guys, you can see, you can do all kinds of different little designs on the top there. I'm just going to take that one off real quick so that we can get our nails top coated and you can see the final look here, but you can definitely do whatever other kind of designs you want on there for the holidays. So to do our top coat, you guys, I think I got a little bit of that gel color up on here. There we go. Okay, so to do our top coat, you guys, those of you that have been with us here in the chat and that you have been watching our live streams for a while, you know what time it is. It is top coat time, so go ahead and start the top coat chant in the chat. And I grabbed my matte top coat. That was not the one that I wanted to use today. I wanted to use my Ultimate Finish top coat. So let's go ahead and start the top coat chant in the chat. And if you're new to our channel, all that is just typing in top coat, top coat, top coat into the chat. And that is how we seal our designs. And today I'm working with our Ultimate Finish top coat, which is a great fast drying top coat. You guys, it cures in the light for 60 seconds. And when it is dry, there is no tacky surface to wipe off. So you don't have to worry about cleansing or anything like that. Once it's cured, it is cured. So one coat of our Ultimate Finish top coat, I'm going to pop that into the light just for a few seconds to freeze that into place, and then I'll show you guys the final look of our nails. So in the meantime, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, join our community, get free education. Again, we've got so many different videos here on our YouTube channel. We've got all kinds of different techniques, glitter mixing, gels, acrylics, stamping, filing, form fitting, all kinds of different techniques here. So anything that you have questions about, make sure to check out our YouTube channel here and make sure to subscribe. All right, you guys, what do you think? Do we love our fall, what is it, our fall glitter fade French? Let me know in the chat. Let us know in the comments if you think that this is a design you could do or think that you would like to do this for the fall. And if you do this design, make sure to take pictures, post it on your social media, tag Young Nails so that we know that you are using our inspiration, and we would love to see your creations. You guys, thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't already, I know you have, but if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. We will see you guys back next time. Thanks, everybody.